Recently when we were in Japan, there was one dish that we had to get everywhere we went. And that was Shime Saba, pickled mackerel. It's not a particularly complex dish, something about it just tickles my taste buds. A cured fish, kind of dehydrated a little bit with that punchy vinegar as well. There's just something about it. So on a recent dive, when I managed to get myself a Slimey Mackerel or Blue Mackerel, I had to give it a shot. So if you watched my last couple of videos, you'd know that I've been out of the water for quite a while. This dive here is really my first proper session with a mate in nearly 3 months. I was feeling pretty rusty with the spear gun, and you're gonna see that in just a sec here. We started the morning by diving this offshore spot that's usually pretty productive. You can see a little bit of bait there hiding in the cracks, but it's not really fired up, and it's not really indicating that there's gonna be any predators around. Couple juvenile trevally over there as well, but nothing really of a size that I'd wanna shoot. We continued swimming along this ledge, just looking for pressure points where bait might be schooling up in the current, hoping we'd find some predatory pelagic fish hunting. But aside from that wobbegong down below, the groper coming over the ledge, and the blue morwong out here, I didn't see anything. My mate, on the other hand, you can hear it there, shot himself a beautiful blue bar parrotfish. Now this next shot, I really contemplated not putting it in, but I think it's important to show the realities of what spearfishing can be sometimes. Lately we've been seeing these spike fin parrotfish. They're not super common in our waters, and seeing them I got pretty excited. But feeling pretty rusty as well, I didn't get the best shot on it unfortunately. You can see there it rips off and heads down into that crack. Unfortunately, this heartbreaking moment does occasionally happen when you're spearfishing. But here I stay calm, head back to the surface to breathe up and reload my gun, all the while keeping an eye on that crack where the fish went. I could see that fish making a break out of that crack, and I dived down to take another shot at it. Hitting it a little higher this time. Usually this kind of shot holds alright, but unfortunately the flesh on these fish is just so soft that after a quick fight it pulled itself off again. Now while spearfishing can be a highly sustainable practice when done right, unfortunately these kind of situations do occasionally happen, and they're every spearer's worst nightmare. And I can't speak for everyone, these kind of moments usually keep me up at night. I did dive again hoping to find that fish, more than anything at this point, just so I could end any suffering. But unfortunately, it was long gone. With the heartbreak of that last fish on my mind, I spotted this small school of goatfish, which are easily my favourite fish to catch around where we dive. This isn't the best example of how I like to stalk these fish, but I find it is a pretty common shot I end up getting. I like to observe the school from the surface for a little while. I wait till they're feeding and distracted, and then I drop calmly and quietly as I can behind them, gliding down to the bottom, where it gives me plenty of time to choose which fish I want to take. I'm not sure if it's a male-female thing in the species, but I find the biggest and fattest fish usually have their tails lit up all purple. We continued diving this same area, but really we didn't find a lot going on. Here I just spotted a nice school of trevally from the surface, hanging out in this gutter I'm about to crawl into. This is a great way to stalk in on fish like trevally that often like to spook. If you spot them from the surface, try and dive away from them and then crawl in with some cover. Unfortunately though, in this school, no fish of a reasonable size, and we made the call to head back up and move on to the next spot. The next spot we were greeted with the most current and the most fish activity of the whole day. You can see here carpets of bait fish which felt super promising for some pelagics coming through. When the water's like this, you can find all sorts of hunters like kingfish and bonito coming through. You never guess it, the kingfish showed up. And this guy was a nice, short, fat model, really perfect for eating. Not too sure what happened here. The top-down shot's never really ideal anyway. I think the fish was nearing the limits of my setup's range, and it swam off to sea another day. The whole time at this spot, it really felt like something could turn up at any second. So patiently, we just kept diving through the bait, enjoying the scenery, and seeing what would show up. Sure enough, it wasn't long until my mate had shot himself a monster bonito. Now when diving in conditions like this, it's super valuable to keep a keen eye on those bait fish. Observing their behavior and patterns is going to give you a clear idea of when there might be bigger fish around hunting. Watching this school though, I noticed there was one fish that looked a little out of place. And see if you can spot it before I take this shot. Now to most fishermen, this fish is known as a slimy mackerel, and to a lot of people, it's only really seen as bait. But with evolving fish handling and processing practices, it's often being marketed as blue mackerel in restaurants now. And when handled properly, it's an incredible fish for raw, smoked, or grilled dishes. It's also packed with a ton of healthy omega oils and fats. Now I usually find them in schools of yakka just like this, with the exception of a few clips I'm about to show you in a sec. I light this fish up because it can be a little hard to spot amongst the yakka. I find the easiest way to pick them out though is that they swim a little bit more aggressively, and you can usually make out their stunning markings on their back. Now these clips happen to be from a couple of days after I filmed this entire video, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Diving the same spot as we were in before, we found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these slimy mackerel or blue mackerel schooled up on the bottom. And I can't tell you how many shots I took and missed on these fish, but they still just hung around. I'm not going to complain about those misses though. I got plenty of opportunities to practice my aim and be in absolute awe of this stunning scene of all these fish schooling up like this. Eventually though, with a little persistence, I managed to shoot myself a few of these fat blue mackerel. At times the school would seem to disappear, but then out of nowhere it would appear again, and you'd get another chance to take home one of these beautifully fat fish that are in peak season right now. Now these fish being in peak season are carrying an insane amount of visceral and intramuscular fat, which is perfect for the curing part of this recipe. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you the results from these fish, which were even fatter than the fish I originally caught. For now though, here's a sneak peek of all of that intramuscular fat. It was so cool being able to spot the school just from the fish that were flashing their iridescent bellies. I found with the fish schooled up in numbers like this, they're a lot more relaxed and it's a lot easier to take a shot. When they're out on their own, they can be pretty quick, and you'll see that in just a sec here. Even just the markings on these fish are absolutely stunning. But you know what's even better? The fat marbled through this meat, which I'm going to show you at the end of the video. I'm assuming this was some kind of spawning event, but either way I feel super blessed to have witnessed it and have been able to take a few fish home to cook up some epic meals. So let's get into the kitchen. Back in the kitchen, and we got our beautiful slimy mackerel or blue mackerel, whatever you like to call it. A little different to the species that's often used in Japan, but we're gonna make it work for us. This is what we got. See what we can do. Unfortunately, the spear did sort of rip him up there, but what are you gonna do? First things first, we're gonna clean this fish up. It has been sitting on ice for the last 24 hours or so. It's nice and chilled, but it is still a little filthy. Just get that knife, open him up all the way to the mouth, from the vent to the mouth, and then we'll
just take out that. Hopefully we can clean this fella. Gills to booty hole. Detach those gills and then pull most of that out. Beautiful. That is what we wanted. Now, a lot of people call these slimies, and they're not like a super popular fish traditionally. I think a lot of people just use them as bait, and we'll just see them as bait. And being super oily, you do have to use them pretty quick. And if you leave these guys just to sit around and you're just gonna use them as bait and they lie around on the deck, they are gonna get real stinky and real gross, which I don't know, maybe it's good for bait. Fish can smell it coming and whatever else, but for eating, that's not so good. And I think that's a lot of people's experience with these fish. I'm just throwing some paper towel down here while it's still messy. Yeah, a lot of people's experience with these fish is just when they're all stinky and gross because they've been sitting on the deck, you know? It's kind of where the slimy mackerel reputation came from. Despite restaurants utilising them heaps and calling them blue mackerel. And people pay a pretty penny for them when they're like that. So, with that fairly clean now. Pretty good. We gotta take these fillets off and then start assessing the damage from the spears, I think. Nice and fat and plump at the moment though. Beautiful. Heads off. Quick and easy. Easy peasy. Let's just throw that head in the little rubbish bowl we got going. And making our way through the paper towel here, handling all of this fairly dry for now. So we got our fish kind of trunked out, heads off, fins off, and we're gonna do our best to work around that spear wound. But we're gonna take the fillets off, gently down the spine there, and then straight through those rib bones and pin bones there. One beautiful fillet. Just lay out a little bit more paper towel, put that down on the side of the fish so we can keep the board nice and clean. This side is not so good, huh? We got a bit going on there. So again, open up top of the fish along the spine and then cutting in on the bottom, following the spine again. Doing our best around that spear wound, and that's all pretty separated there. Separate the tail and then run our knife down the fillet and two beautiful mackerel fillets. Easy peasy. So following that, I've seen a lot of people take the ribs off later in the whole process, but while we're here, just take them out now. Just slicing up to those pin bones and then running the knife down towards the belly. Shallow as we can. Try and retain a bit of that belly meat, because that is where all the beautiful fat's gonna be, in there. Up against that belly meat. And we're gonna come down to the belly again. A sharp knife, as always. Make this whole process a lot easier. A little bit of membrane. Let's take that off. Beautiful. Same again, a little bit of membrane. Gonskis. Okay. Decent spear wound on this one, and I might just have to do that. That's gonna be dog food. That's gonna be people food. That one, I reckon we can get away with that, if I'm honest. So, I'm gonna leave the pin bones in. Pretty simple process, but we're gonna just salt these pretty much. So, oh dear, salt them up. So, just a gentle cure, nothing crazy, but enough that we can pull out some moisture, firm it up, real nice. I think pulling that moisture out is just gonna get them oils popping, get it really, and that beautiful fat that these guys have this time of year, so I'm told by the guys at Southeast Seafood, we should get plenty of flavour out of that. Try and grind it up nice and fine with the fingers here. Nice and generous, load of salt. That's gonna do us, I reckon. So put the salt away. And what I'm gonna do in the fridge as well, something a little different, something you might not think so much, is I'm gonna elevate one end. And how am I gonna do that? Something like this. Just elevate one end of this dish. Any moisture that does come out of this can sort of flow to the end. Hopefully they're not kind of sitting in it, letting it pool and all. So we'll throw this in the fridge for about an hour and then we'll be back to do the next steps. Well, it's been about an hour and a half in the end. But we're gonna give the fish a rinse, and I'm gonna use some iced water. Something about the water being iced maybe helps, I don't know. Stops the fish warming up, I guess. But you get this salt off, and I know dry handling is pretty popular now, but all traditional recipes for Shime Saba seem to include a bit of rinsing the fish in water. So that's what we're gonna do. Just a quick one, just to get the salt off. That salt should have penetrated a fair bit anyway, so hopefully that's gonna help, I guess, with any stuff, with any water problems. We're also not gonna be aging it after this or anything, so we should be all good. So what we're gonna do, going to drop the fish into the ice water, give it a quick rinse, and then pat it dry. Hopefully got most of that salt off. Wipe off anything that might be left. Beautiful. Let's get any of that extra bitterness out of there. Make sure there's no salt left on that. Meat's sort of splitting a little bit there, but should be alright, I reckon. It's quite delicate, the old slimy mackerel meat. You can tell by the decent rip from the spear gun. Line fishing probably be the preferable way to catch these guys. You can't really see them, I guess, but at least you wouldn't be damaging their small little delicate bodies, eh? And paper towel, got nice and dry. Fucking flies non-stop, eh? Oh, get this tray out of here. Feel it's nice and dry. Can do that. So that salty cure, like I was saying, is just kind of pulling out any extra moisture, just so we can keep that nice and dry. We want to dehydrate the meat ever so slightly, firm it up, but also concentrate some of those oils and flavors. Same principle as dry aging, but these fish don't really age very well because they are so oily. They will just oxidize and go bad really quick. So none of that here. Seems like most places I tried Shime Saba in Japan, there was a little sweetness to it as well. So I think people are adding a bit of sugar into the mix. I don't know how super traditional that is, but we'll just add a tiny bit just to cut the acidity up a tad. Probably use mirin or something for this as well. We'll just add a little bit, 1, 2 into all of that. Give it a mix, try and get that dissolved fully. And then I'm just gonna pour it over. Oh, nearly got them covered. We'll just pour it over until we got the fish covered. And to make sure that it's all covered, we're gonna chuck put in some paper towel just like this. And that's gonna sit on top of that and make sure all of that fish is coming in contact with some of that rice vinegar. So very carefully, we're gonna take this, put it into the fridge without spilling a drop. Yeehaw, got him. Done it, believe it or not. Now it's gonna go in for another, oh, that's not what I wanted. Another hour, and then we're gonna pull it out and get it all presented. In the meantime, we're gonna prepare some of the garnish for this. Now, on the side of pretty much all sashimi and sushi stuff you're gonna get in Japan, you're gonna have this white, spirally, noodly looking stuff. And that is the old white radish, Daikon. I'm sure there's masters out there who are all over it with doing it by hand, making your little noodly jobs. But I've got a little trick up my sleeve that I haven't really had a good chance to use yet. So once I get this peeled and prepped, we're gonna have a little experiment with a little cheating technique, I reckon. And here it is, the old KitchenAid. So the KitchenAid has a spiralizer attachment. Goes into your little accessory jobby up there. I'm just gonna pull this bad boy that way. And it goes a little something like this. Am I doing that right? Yes, sir. Yep, locked and loaded, and he's away. So I have to shorten this up. There is a little peeler attachment. Well, I don't know how much it kind of will pull off, you know? yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be too much. So let's take that out, throw this on the spiky job, and then see what happens. I guess. And oh yes, that's exactly what we were after, pretty much. Little thick maybe, but it'll do. We'll work with that. It's a whole lot easier than the knife, I'll tell you that much for free. I think that was the finest we could go. Yeah, the rest are all kind of make like spring kind of shapes. That'll do though. That's it. Totally right. Oh, ding ding ding. All right, done the job. That'll do us. Plenty of it. We didn't need that much, but yeah, well, get it up ya. Bit of radish, eh? Lovely. Pretty plain taste, but it's got that little peppery kick to it, especially when you take a few big bites. How easy was that though? 2 seconds. I'm sure there's someone out there that you can watch on YouTube, show you how to do it by hand. I did watch something today and it was like a little fine little knife, like rolling the roll out, get it super fine, and then chopping the rolled bits. And well, you know what? I got a spiralizer. We're gonna rip in with that. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, eh? Yeah. Now, the next piece to our puzzle, he's growing out here in my garden. And, oh, surely not. Some shiso that popped up growing out of the pavers. So must have lost some seeds out of the plant before, but my big boy has gone to seed as well, unfortunately, but I'll have to get some new seeds in. We are going to take some leaves right now though, just for some presentation. Get it all looking pretty authentic and that. It's a bit sad. I think it needs some water probably, but I'll just get them picked off. A nice big dog there. Lovely. Try and keep it fairly flat. Any other nice ones? There's a big dog, but I don't know how nice it is. Anyway, we'll have an assessment when we go back inside, eh? We grab little ones as well, just to see what the go is. Alright, that'll do us, I reckon. Alright, back to the kitchen. Alright, well, we got a few options here. Keep that a clean. A few options. Kind of assess down the road, I guess. See what we're working with slices wise. But always good to have a few options. Yeah, it's not super happy that shiso, but oh well. We'll have to grow some. I think it's really the right season. We'll get some more going there. But there's enough to do something with there. We'll make it work. Alright, well that's 20 minutes in, so we've got another 40 minutes or so. I'm gonna chill out, max relax, get some bits cleaned up, and then we'll get into the Saba. Into the mackerel. Well, it's been about an hour. Mackerel pickling, shime. I don't know if that's a verbiage in Japanese, but has been pickling. And we're gonna try and get it out without spilling any vinegar once again. Very gentle. Righty. I'm just gonna pour some of this straight off though. Hey, there we go. Straight off the end. We're gonna get a little chopping board, because that's all we need really. You see that vinegar's kind of cooked our fish. Straight in the bin with that. A little bit on the shoe, that'll do. And we're gonna take a bit of paper towel. Just gonna make sure it's nice and dry now. Once again, we've still got these pin bones to deal with. And we got the problem of kind of skin membrane as well that we're gonna deal with in a moment. Interesting to see just how easy that comes off. I'm a little sus on it because other mackerel species that is usually used, I don't know what exactly it is, but whatever it is, seem to be able to just peel that skin membrane off pretty easy. So hopefully we can do the same. And we're just gonna make sure it's all patted down, nice and dry. Got that there. So I'm just working our way along this fillet, pulling out them bones. A little fiddly this bit, but it makes all the difference when you're eating it later on. I find you'll run your finger along it and you can kind of flick those bones up just to help you find them. And just getting some real small ones back here. That'll do us for now, I reckon. Still a little damp, these fillets, but that's what I want. Pin bone and one there. rattling on this fillet. Right here though, I can feel it. There it is. Oh, not good. There it is. Got him in the end, eh? Feel another one. There he is. Oh, don't want to leave that on there. Seen a lot of raw meat in there. Wondering if we could have done with a bit more pickling. Just have to see what the taste test reckons. That'll... What the hell? More? It feels like it. There was indeed. That'll do us. Alright. Just grab all of those bones off there. Easy peasy. Something like that. Easy as. These dry. Again. Now, here's the tricky bit that I'm not 100% sure on, but apparently you can do. So we start up here, but everyone pulls like a little membrane off, not the full skin, you know? This is the little knife I was after. So I wonder if we can get a little membraney bit off rather than the whole skin. Oh, that looks like that might be it. No, it's just the whole skin. What the hell, man? See, because I don't want to take... That's half the thing is having the skin on there, you know? Oh, bloody gloves. Make it next to impossible. Oh, there we go. Oh, only kind of common. I don't know, maybe it needed more time. Oh, no, we kind of got it. Oh, look at that. I wouldn't say it was perfect, but not bad. See, because all that's all the like the fat and the goodies in there, waiting, flavour, the oils, all that goodness. Got that off there. Okay, so how did we do that? How did we do that? Kind of catch an edge. See if we can get it to. Oh yeah, just pulling the whole skin here. Wonder. There it is. Oh, there's got to be a bit more of a trick to that. Surely, mostly got it. All right, so there we go. Knife, right here. Give it a little slice there. Little taster, pretty good. Maybe I reckon a little bit more curing would have been good for it. Would have done it well, but it is what it is, eh? Can't win them all. Can't win them all, mate. We got a couple of plating options, and we got our radish. So we'll just, it's a little thick, but only a white boy. Don't need too much, I guess. Got out. I do like this blue plate, but we'll see. We might just end up using the other one. Who knows, mate? Who knows? Oh, bloody silly strings keeps coming, eh? All right, got our red shiso leaves as well here, and just get a towel. We can dry these out. Give them a little quick wash. Who knows what slug's been crawling over these dogs? There it is. And a bit of that. Dry them off. Just like that. Easy peasy, huh? Might just get some kind of big that one, innit? That's your boy right there. And then we'll get like another little one maybe. Something like that. Just a white boy doing his best. Just a gaijin doing all he can. Might even just swap him around. Yeah, that Daikon's just a little bit on the thick side. No. Anyway, I don't know. I might just do that, I reckon. Do a little fan of him. Best with what we got, huh? Bit of this. Chop him. Oh, newbie. That'll do us. That'll do us. So we're gonna use the blue plate anyway. I do like it. Nice with the blue skin on the mackerel, I guess. So it is what it is. Now the question is, which pieces are we gonna use? Huh? I know everyone does a little slit and then a little full cut there. Tons of fat all under that skin there. I don't know if you can fully see it, but pretty good looking just in here. A bit messy, that cuts. I might just have to eat that right there. And then, let's see, huh? Same again, little half cut, little full cut. Again, half cut, full cut, half cut, full cut, half cut, full cut. Half cut, full cut, half cut. Snack for now, huh? Oh my days, so fatty, beautiful. So then I might just cut our losses, cut behind the shot there. Still eat it, but not premium for presentation, is it? Get a bit of that up. We'll do a half cut, full cut, half cut, full cut, half cut, full cut. Wow. I like to sort of get all the pieces I'm working with lined up and ready to rip. And then you can kind of work out where you're at and what's going on. So Those seems to be work pretty good. So here's the debacle. Kind of like the size of them. They're a little bit bigger than these bits, but because they're just from that little section that we lost on the other one. We just don't have as much skin, but well, it might just do. We'll just roll with that. Little bit of a fan on there. So I'm stoked with it. Just yet. Try to get all those bottoms lined up and then pull it out, something like that. These are the winner pieces though. That's all that fat in there, all through there. My goodness. All right, maybe I reckon we can get away with putting some more little pieces in. Maybe, just to help fill it out a bit. I think they're gonna be for eating. This is gonna be for presentation. That Shiso is really letting the team down here. Daikon could have been a bit thinner, but look, this is 1.0. This is 1.0. We're just experimenting, playing around, having fun. And then we'll come back bigger and better in the 2.0, eh? Oh, I reckon. Stuff a bit of that Shiso in there. Come on, fella. Don't do me like this now. All right, well, welding Shiso it is. It is what it is, mate. All right, so beautiful, 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 beautiful mackerel here. Just there, bang, boom, 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 boom. Bit of that, bit of this, bit of this, bit of that. There it is. The last thing we do have though is this beautiful white shoyu. It's probably one of my favorite soy sauces to have with raw fish. It's just a lot more subtle and delicate than some of your other Kikkoman and things like that you get, and a little sweeter as well. Just doesn't overpower the fish. You can just see the difference in the color. It's like a beautiful goldeny color opposed to the sort of real dark browny color we're normally used to. There it is. Little Shime Saba, first attempt. That skin peeled off. Wasn't so sure it was gonna happen, but we got that. It is way softer than a lot of the stuff we had in Japan. So I think a little bit longer on a salt cure maybe. Yeah. But see what you reckon. So I can get my Japanese. Not Japanese chopsticks. I wouldn't say the softness is like bad though. Because it is so fatty and oily. Like, it's been out of the fridge a while, so it's kind of warmed up a bit, but I reckon chilled it would be. There's a lot more punch to yours than the ones we had in Japan. Is that because of the skin? In terms of the vinegar? When you say punch, what do you mean? The saltiness, and I like the vinegar though, maybe the saltiness. I feel like a lot of the ones we had were like definitely dehydrated a lot more, and maybe like just cured in the vinegar longer as well. Oh damn, this is super fatty. In season. High quality. Some of the ones that we had in Japan didn't have that kind of cooked white at all. Meat, yeah, at all. Because I felt like some of them were almost that cooked white all the way through as well. But that first one that we had in Tokyo, that random little spot that we found, white cooked meat. They use a slightly different species as well, so it'd be a little bit different, but still the same kind of idea, like super oily, fatty fish. But interested. Try it another time and do like side by sides, like long salt cure, long pickle. One fillet salt cure and one pickle. Oh, they all get salt cure. So you do an hour or so in salt, is what everyone reckons, and then an hour or so in vinegar. Well, use a spiralizer. Yeah? It's cool. No, not bad. I like it. Do it again. Find some more slimies. Maybe tomorrow. Alright, if you enjoyed the video, leave it a like. And if you had fun, you don't want to miss out on anything coming up, make sure you're subscribed. Yeehaw. Peace out, brother.
Now before you go anywhere, I did promise I would tell you all about these fish that I reckon were even fattier than the one that I got for this video. I treated these a little differently as well. I started to experiment and I cured these for 24 hours. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. But I think they have to be this fatty. With that extra moisture pulled out, the flesh is almost buttery. But I can imagine if they weren't quite so fatty, it would end up a little dry. You can see here all of that fat marbled through the belly meat. And I think this really makes this probably the most underrated fish I've ever prepared. Again guys, if you enjoyed, leave this video a like, and if you don't want to miss out on anything coming up, make sure you're subscribed. And hit that button there if you want to check out any of my other videos.